mystery. So the way I divided this was my age, the device I played on, and the games that I remember. Okay, so I got my Game Boy first. I don't remember if it's my birthday or Christmas, but I remember playing these two Barbie games. The first one was Barbie and 12 Dancing Princesses, and Barbie and the Princess and the Pauper. So both of them, I played a lot during because I had a lot of free time, and I think I liked it because well, I think one of the objectives for the 12 Dancing Princesses was to you play as the Barbie first, and then you have to save all the 11. And for the second one, I don't really remember, but I remember that one scene where she's supposed to use the tray to protect herself from this water thing that's coming down. And there was like a lot of mystery and then solving games from the back characters that came from the actual movie himself. So I really liked it. So the next one was PSP. This game, I've actually finished it, but I kept on playing and playing again. I don't even know how many files that I saved it. I think the main objective of this game was to collect cheese, and you play in different locations as Remy the rat. And I think you start off as I think you start in the kitchen, being chased away by either this guy in the hat or something, or maybe this is the boss level. I can't really remember much anymore. Yeah, and then I think one thing that I disliked was the camera angles. Sometimes when I'm supposed to collect a cheese, like I can't really turn the cameras. Yeah, I think that's it for now. Right, this was my PSP and I was 12 years old. And this was around the same time. And the games that impact me the most was Hamster Ball, which is like a puzzle game. I think I either played multiplayer or single. I can't remember much. But I remember that we had to get to the end of the finish line before the timer ran out. And I think in this one, we're supposed to push each other multiplayerly to end up on the mousetrap and get like launched away. And oh, it was also really tricky for me to keep the ball from rolling off the seams. And I think there were like a lot of different levels, and like the higher you get, the more difficult it becomes. And another game I like to play, both of these games was from Game House, and I only knew it after searching about Hamster Ball. And Sally Salon, I think, is mostly a time management game because like look at this timer here, and then the goal of this game is supposed to satisfy the customers that come in with different kinds of requests. And you can also upgrade the chairs with the money that you collect. And the Now games, I think it's kind of similar because I still like to fix things, and like there's always like time management or something, and there's always like puzzles to in each level, different ones. And I also like more fighting games now, but I don't know why I don't really like PUBG or Fortnite that much. Maybe because I always lose or something. But this game is special because after you die, you can still respawn back and play with your teams. There's two objectives of this. I think one is either you shoot a player and you collect the points, and those who get like 100 will win the game. And another one is you have to fight your opponents around this area that you have to stand, and the percentage has to. Okay, that's it for now.
Thanks, Abby.
Yeah.
Um, this is now, right? Amateur Surgeon 4 and Modern
Yeah.
Combat. Modern Combat. So there's one more thing that maybe you could add, like um why I appreciate fighting games, the one you begin the round and revive back
Yeah.
again.
Okay.
Also, the weapons are already with the characters. What does it mean for you at that point of time? That's another thing that you could maybe expand on.
Mm-hmm.
Why the meaning? What does it mean? Context, like why does these games resonate with you? Why did you choose these games? And how do you feel about it? So that is these are some of the things that you can add on.
Okay.
Yeah. So very good. So I think this is interesting, and also you can also even add that roughly which year was it? At that
Oh, the game came out. Okay.
Yeah, which year did you play these games? So you can see some kind of depth to history. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Over to who's the second one according to the wheel of names?
Ryan.
Ryan. Over to you.
So this is my game history.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was a kid, uh, I was hello.
Yeah,
Hello,
we're
hello.
listening.
Yeah, so when I was a kid, like console gaming was not really a thing. Like children would mostly play outdoor games like football, marbles, I don't know, like bicycle racing. So I would say my first game was a physical one, and it was mainly football. And football is basically a sport that there are two different teams of 11 players. The aim is to just shoot the ball to the opposite side, opposite goal post. So around 2006, when the PS3 came out, this is when I really started experiencing console, like digital gaming. Um, the fact that my cousins, uh, like like coming, they love to come home and chill with me. Like our first game was FIFA, which is also a football game. Although it was not, I was not really good at playing FIFA. It was a fun way to like spend time with the close ones, especially during cyclones, like days you can't go out or after a tiring day at school. FIFA was like fun for every group age. And back then the graphics was not really good, especially when you're playing on a CRT screen, which is like really huge. And even the sound was like really bad, and there was a lot of bugs. It was really glitchy. But for me, it was my first gaming experience. So as time went by, uh, FIFA also evolved into a better game. So it kept developing. The graphics became so much better. The sound was much clearer, and there were obviously less bugs. Um, it is also more enjoyable with a new experience, but it doesn't really bring the same experience as before. Because with the old PS3, you would like there were like when you started, it would like freeze, and then you would like start shaking it to remove the dust or something. We would do these things, but now with all the new stuff, you won't get these errors, I guess. So yeah, That's my first gaming experience, I would say.
At that time, what kind of games you played?
I
What
would
kind of
play like outdoor games, like mostly football, like marbles with my friends. You know,
mm. And do you find, have you ever played a game solo
like you mean like
by yourself?
marb? No, not really, because I was really surrounded with like a lot of kids, I guess.
So
Yeah,
that's a point. Because you're
yeah,
often surrounded, you're always within a social circle,
yeah.
and you don't, do you play with toys by yourself when you're a kid?
No, I was not really a. I didn't really like playing with toys.
You never really played with toys at that time,
Yeah,
or you
yeah.
make your own toys.
No, no. I would just like play with my friends, like football, stuff like that. Mainly football.
Right. So ever since you were a kid, about this young, you were definitely always among friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. See, these are the information that you got to start off with. You are among friends, and you found pleasure with interacting with your peers, and that
Okay.
mattered to you a lot. Were there
Yeah.
times where you couldn't do that?
Definitely when like, especially during like exam period, my parents would not let me go out or let my friends come home.
Okay, so that was torment for you, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would say.
so these are also factors, and why social games like football or marbles
Yeah.
mattered to you, because you're allowed to challenge and compete with your friends. Go to the next
Mm-hmm.
slide. Yeah, so that's the thing. Um, Between this slide and your childhood slide, the outdoor games became, I mean, outdoor games were a very important part of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that you must explain it like this. Expand on the experience as well. It's not merely cataloging your personal game history. You're explaining. You're putting indications of experience, indications of meaning of this interactivity. Then move to the next slide. Yeah, so there's a big gap between this and the outdoor game slide. So between these two, there's a huge gap. What happened between this and then? How did it lead to the first console? Were you playing games on the computer in between? Yeah, so you did. So you gotta explain as far as you can remember, what were the first digital games? The transition from analog to digital, could it mean that you are growing up? Could it mean that you are ready for complexities in gameplay because your life already became more complex? For example, when you were in your teens, you would have started to have more awareness of the opposite sex. The dimensions of the social circle has already increased. What were noticeable? And were digital games being played by you by yourself? Was it a lot different from the interactive outdoor games that you were playing? If so, how different is it? Is there anything in the digital games when you played that gave you some form of satisfaction which the outdoor games couldn't give you? Abby, this is what I was trying to say too. I think that this expansion is important because it gives you more depth, it gives you more humanistic views of your gameplay history. Then moving on to the next slide, Ryan. Yeah. So this is not PS3 game. This is definitely before that, right?
Yeah, that was like the first FIFAs that came out.
Absolutely. So this was an earlier console. That means, were you playing this on a PS1?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. So there are gaps in your chronology, and then you need to redefine this chronology in a better way, so that you can see how it led to each other, how it's interconnected. Then when you're playing this FIFA game, how is this comparable to the analog outdoor games? Okay, so how is this comparable? So that actually is connected to our next exercise, which is to be discussed on Monday. So in FIFA could be a good case study for you. And FIFA games, basically almost every year, they come up with a new version.
Yeah.
So at that point of time, you say the graphic was not good, but if you look back at the context of that time itself, the graphics
it was
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when I showed you the Wolfenstein 3D? And
Oh yeah,
that was my
great.
first ever first-person game I played, and that was a defining turning point for me. It made me fall in love with first-person games and digital games. Before that, I didn't really bother, not to that extent. But the moment I saw that, I'm like, wow, you can explore worlds within a screen, a CRT screen. Well, like you said, the CRT screen was awesome at that time, and it's in color. Yeah. And you see,
sometimes you have to like beat it for it to
absolutely.
turn on.
Yeah. And you see bad guys bleed. You can only see bad guys bleed in movies, and you can't make them bleed in real life, otherwise you're a murderer. But then the moment you do make them bleed on screen, you feel a huge kind of wow, you have the power to do that. You have the power to do that. So you got to explain it this way. How impressive was it, and why was it impressive? So then you go to the last slide. Now this is a whole new ball game, where the relationship and interaction with technology from different time. You see technology increases, the technology for processing speed, graphics technology, the polygons becoming finer and finer. The more realism can be programmed into a game such as FIFA. They became more realistic, and movements, motion capture technology, and things like that contributed to a creation of such a game where it becomes more immersive. You started to identify with the player better because of the replication of realism. So although FIFA is imaginary game, yet essence of it is very much real, because it's so much more. It's based on a real football match, a real football league match, and things like that. And it also has now infused with a narrative compared to the FIFA games of past decade. It is comparable because now you have a career mode, and it gives a dimension to the player, and the player who's playing the console, you can actually observe the career of this particular. You can totally create a new player and watch him progress, and you can control the outcome because he's a playable character. So you need to maybe amend this and fill in the gaps and explain this. Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm recording my explanations this time, so I definitely will include this in the video. I'll get this uploaded soon.
Thank you.
No problem, Ryan. All right, over to who's next?
Yeah. You guys see?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I just gonna
Show me the first part. Scroll up to the
this
first.
is the first part, sir. My name.
Yeah, I don't see
I
anything.
want to see this part. My name is Andre Kenny. I'm 19 years old.
Yeah.
You're 19?
Yeah, you didn't know?
Oh, okay. Talking
What
about
do you
game.
mean?
No, just
Like,
kidding.
how old is everyone? Like, how old is everyone? 20 plus?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm the
Right,
youngest,
right.
actually.
What? How old are you?
21.
Oh, Ryan is
Oh,
21.
About
Yeah.
my age, I will go into that later on the bottom. Yeah. So my first, like, the one that literally changed my life, like, in like,
Your screen.
Uh,
Your screen.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Here,
got
I
it.
already changed. Yeah. So
Alright.
basically, my first ever like console that literally changed the way of my perspective on games is actually PS2, PlayStation 2, because they they have this game called Call of Duty. Like everyone knows, Call of Duty is first-person shooter games, and basically it's based on a story in World War II, and then so on and so forth. So it's on around 2008. I was at home, and I just got back from school, and my dad surprised me buying me this this console PS2, and then I just happy and just keep playing it every single day. Not sometimes I slept like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I got scolded. Yeah.
I must say, as a child, that's really late.
Yeah.
As a kid,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. That's right. That's
True.
me.
You were 7 years old. Wow.
Yeah, I was 7 years old, and then the time passed by. It was 2010. I saw this when I went to the mall. I saw this console. Looks very cool. Yeah, you can see Xbox 360. During that time, it's the most shiniest console I ever seen in my life, and it literally attracts my eyes. Where I should buy this. So I was a kid, so I was crying to my mom that can you please buy me this, and then I think the day after she bought me this, and then I play the game, like play all of the Call of Duty games that came out on this
Wow.
console. So
Wow.
yeah, I play Modern Warfare 1, 2, Black Ops, and basically I keep following whatever Call of Duty have come out or release any games. I'll play it on any platform they have. So yeah, that during that time I was 9 years old, and then go on 2012. Basically, my mom and my dad angry at me because I keep playing my console like probably after school until at night, and sometimes I only slept like less than 8 hours, and yeah, I feel sleepy when I go to class. So they take away my Xbox and my PS, everything. I was so sad. Literally, I was so sad. So I asked them if I can go to a computer tuition, and then they bring me to this computer tuition where it's my first ever. I touched a PC on 2012. That's the first time I touched PC, like they can play computer games. So yeah, this is my first. This is my first game that I played on that PC, Counter-Strike Condition Zero. So this is kind of the second version of Counter-Strike that ever came out on PC. The first one is Counter-Strike 1.6. So yeah, I got hooked to this game because the tuition center actually created a friendly competition.
Wow.
And we kind of like I'm trying to gather, and my cousin, my brother, they all go to that tuition as well. So I gather them to play with me because 5 men, right? We need 5 men to play in one match. So I gather my two of my cousins, my brother, and my other friends. So basically, play in a team. We don't even train. We just play, and then on that day of competition, and we won. So yeah, that's the first tournament I ever go, and I won. Then after that, go on 2014. 2014 is the year where I moved from Indonesia to Malaysia, and I moved when I was 13 years old. I already 13 years old. I moved to Malaysia, and yeah, I don't touch any more computer games until I saw on an ads on my phone where Point Blank is actually a very popular game in Indonesia, but they just came out in Malaysia in Garena. If you guys know Garena, it's a platform. So they released it, and I keep playing it. And fun fact, I played 2 tournaments for this game, and I play until Southeast Asia region. That's all. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Okay, and then 2015. This is the day. This is the time where my prime time was 2015 until around 2018. When I was 14 years old, I already joining communities, workshop, met a lot of coaches, met a lot of people that created teams, created all the events, for Counter-Strike in Malaysia. I met them. I talked to them, like just to know whatever this CS:GO scene and stuff. So on 2016, Red Bull created an event where tournament. I went to that tournament and kind of got top 8 place, and then it's not that bad for the first time playing Counter-Strike. Oh yeah, for you, as you guys know, the Counter-Strike that I play on this year is a different Counter-Strike than the previous one. The previous one is a Counter-Strike Condition Zero. This is the latest one called Counter-Strike Global Offensive. This is where I started my career on like gaming and stuff. So yeah, the picture, this picture on the right is where just a normal tournament where they have it on a mall. I think it's on Bangsa. Yeah.
Right.
I went there and I just compete with my friends and just try to build out our names. Basically, this is our like me joining a team called Psycho Esports. So
Right.
the team is no more anymore. But this is the first team that I went to a tournament and tried to build up the name. So we did kind of good. I think 4th place. But then the one that I very enjoy and the one that I'm very proud of is the one on the left. This is the day where I stand on the stage and got 2nd place. It's on Hari Sukandagara on 2018.
Remarkable.
Yeah, this is the day where actually everyone knows who I am, what I'm capable of, and what like at first, long time ago when I was trying to play tournaments, my parents doesn't really like me playing games all the time, staying up late and this. But then out of every training that I do overnight, and I don't even sleep sometimes to train, everything is it's there. It's helped me build my skills and helped me go to this point of time. So yeah, and then after 2018 I stopped because I just moved to uni, and uni life is kind of hard and I need to focus on more. So I just play casually on Fortnite. And then Fortnite, when I was 17 years old, I play Fortnite. Fortnite is a lot different genre of games than any other games that I play, because this is a third-person game, and also battle royale. So this game is actually more chill and more fun games to play with friends than the Counter-Strike, because Counter-Strike is more like adrenaline rush. And yeah, and I play Fortnite until now. It's also
very, very interesting.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
yeah. There's something that you wrote there: throughout your life you like shooting games. What's that? What's the explanation?
What, sorry?
There's something that you wrote there very briefly. I saw that in the document. Throughout your life you like shooting games.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I just say throughout my life, actually, shooting games is actually kind of my passion where it is, because
Yeah.
I just like to shoot people,
Yeah, see, that's kind of connected to what I was going to ask you actually. Why see, Modern Warfare, and then you got Fortnite, and then you have Counter-Strike, and then you have similar shooting games. Why is it important for you to do that?
Oh,
I think
I have the questions for. I mean, I have the answers for that. Actually, I brought
Yeah.
it down. Actually, when shooting games, it's actually it really it's very intense, and it helps to train my senses, where my eyes, ears, and brain. Because the moment you play games like that kind of game, you like.
No, don't
need
give me the science. Don't give me the science of it. Don't try to be academically. Don't try to academically rationalize why you like first-person shooting games. Just tell me why. I just want to break down what happens, or what are you doing there? I know you're shooting, but what are you really doing? Why is this something that you choose to do? Why do you reject anything else but you don't reject shooting? You know very well the stress is really high in the environment.
Yeah,
you know
true.
very well the competitive element is very, very high in that environment. What is it? What is it trying to do to you? You know, like what are the opponents trying to do to you? I mean, what's happening in the environment that makes you want to go back again and again to shoot your opponents?
I don't know. I just have the I have no
Yeah.
answer for that, sir.
That is what you need to put in there, because you need to deep dive and put yourself in your shoes, or I mean, see yourself from a third person. You see yourself from a third person, you should be able to understand why you do it. You need to analyze why you do it, because there are thousands of players that do it too, and many of them have very different stories, and a lot of them intersect with each other. So this reasoning, this narrative, when they intersect, then you can see a kind of a social agreement, and that contributed to the profit of this game in terms of financial profit, because that's what the game designers and the developers of these kind of games realize, because they've done enough research, enough data collection, because they can see the response from these people. So what is it? But when I come to understand how you do it, is to understand how a bunch of them do it. But then again, you may have some reasons that digress, that move away from the common reason to want to be able to do that, but you have plenty of other reasons which is shared by many other players too. That's why by trying to look at yourself from third person, from a much bigger perspective, you get to understand what made you want to do it. See, when your parents didn't want you to play games and tried to prohibit you from playing games, it's almost like what? It's almost like you're back into the world where the structuralist world, where the normal, what was defined by normal is rules. So here in an environment like that, there are rules too, but what do you experience? So when you're prohibited from playing, the more you want to play it. When you're prohibited from doing something which you can't do in real life, the more you want to do that. It's almost like playing GTA, isn't it? When I'm in GTA, I tend to do things which I couldn't do in real life. I can't run over somebody in real life, but I do it in GTA. I don't bother following the actual storyline. I just want to run them over. Why do I do it? Because I'm frustrated. So when you're shooting, what happens? Why do people want to shoot? Why do people want to destroy? It's a destructive element, but the destructive element has turned into a sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's almost like you play ancient. So there's got to be this conflict. There's always warfare. Is always like a conflict. So you need to expand on that. Think about that, and then expand it a little bit. When you amend your personal game history.
But sir, I
Yeah.
mean, like when I was a kid, there's no literally nothing, because I was a kid. I was just just play games, just wasting my time, or basically like relaxing my time. That's all.
Yeah.
But then when towards around like when I started my CS:GO on
Yeah.
2012, I mean, so around there,
Yeah.
I mean, when I go into the tournament, and I got that's one of the reason why I moved to Malaysia. I mean, I kind of like wanted to show that my passion is actually, I wanted to prove myself that I can be more successful in this kind of
Yeah.
journey rather than that. That's all. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, good. See, you said I wanted to prove something to yourself. You want to prove to yourself. That's a point. Point number 1, prove to yourself. Point number 2, again, move away from your home to a new environment, which means you want adventure. Point number 2. Point number 3, and so on and so forth. You see what I mean? So when you reflect, you got these very important points. So you put all these key points in point form, and you don't have to elaborate essays for each point, but you can just extract from what extract first from how you reflect about why you do it. What are you really doing, and so on. You see my point, Kenny?
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, thanks, Kenny. Right. So I look forward to seeing, reading more about that. How about Joe? Your turn. In the meantime, Abby, you there, Abby?
Yeah.
Okay, Abby, I noticed that when you shared your chronology, I love the way you put them together in the layout. It's beautiful. Maintain that, but put the key points. When I mentioned the final explanation to Kenny just now, I think those key points that connects to some additional dimensions to why you play these games. What does it mean for you? And of course, you can add the year of when you played those games. So take note of my feedback to Ryan as well in terms of how it led to each game. How did this game eventually lead? Now, all of you have one thing in common. You all played because of interest. You all played because of interest, and you were attracted to those games. Question is, what attracted you to it? And there are things that you all share in common there, but don't take it for granted. Nothing there is left out. Every little things. When you say that Kenny mentioned that he was spending too much time playing games, but when somebody say to you, you're spending too much time playing games, the adults are telling you that. Okay, the ones who are older than you, they're being critical. So when they're being critical, did you disagree with that, or did you agree that you're spending too much time playing games? So that's also another thing. In your heart, it was a struggle. You disagree with that in your heart, but you had to obey on the surface because those were the rules. So you were constantly bombarded with rules. Aren't we all? Life is continuously bombarding us with rules. So one of the reasons how we can make profit out of games is showing players or potential buyers or potential consumers and how to break rules, how to overcome that, and how to be able to break the rules safely and to make more be more destructive safely in an environment, and to do it really in an attractive way. And Abby, I saw that game, that open world game. There's a battle royale game using cartoons. Zumba or something? That's a very cute battle royale game that you were playing. I thought it was really smart. It was very cute. Yeah, that's really cool. Made me want to try it actually. It's not as fast paced as Modern Warfare, but what's the difference? There's some similarities here. You are actually playing against an opponent. Maybe you're playing against one opponent at one time, doesn't matter, but you're playing against an opponent and you want to eliminate that opponent. Then the winning condition is last person standing or whichever. Yeah. So similar to the battle royales. So the battle royales are similar but extremely fast paced and in first person, whereas the game that you have was more like a third person. So that also is indication that something that you have in common. You also want to eliminate. You also want to, what does that actually mean for you as a person? And because you're a girl, some people have very biased views on that. They might say that girls like to play this kind of games, where boys play this kind of games. So you can also touch on that point. Do you think boys play the games that you play, Abby? Do girls play the games that boys play? Have you ever often wondered why you're constantly only choosing this kind of games rather than those games? Does that mean that you like more safety? Or does that mean that you want games that does not reflect too much risk, and so on and so forth? So these are some of the deep dive questions that you could ask yourself. You can put key points as questions, just as indicators for further discussion. So you can do that. So see what you can add in there, and post those things into your e-portfolio.
Yeah.
Nice. Personal game history, my dear. Don't forget the word personal.
Yeah, it's the name, my game name up there.
Yeah.
It's supposed to mean 35 game history, but okay.
35.
That's my game ID, if you notice already.
Right. I see. Okay.
I'll tell you later why.
Okay.
Okay, so alright. You can see from the years, it's from 2004 to 2019. Which means, yeah, I'm probably done with the games by now. This is the content, four main things I'll talk about. Okay, shortly, introduction. I believe that games make an indirect connection to each of us emotionally and mentally. A lot may think of this as an activity that entertains our times of boredom. But that's only scratching the surface of it. Games unconsciously seep into the emotional gap, into the unexpected moments of our lives, which one can only understand when they reflect deeply onto their personal chapters in life. So I wrote this to share experience about my amazing experience and perspective on how games emotionally connected to me. Okay. Actually, give me a second, it's crashing again. So I actually wrote like a paper on this because I was a bit confused, didn't know what to do. But well, that's why there's no pictures here. You guys get it. So background. Throughout my early times in life, I mean when I was 4 years old, games have played an influential part in shaping the person I am today. They helped me build confidence, relationships, and they're there for me when I was down. So I grew up in different environments, and I find my gaming journey constantly being shaped in my surroundings and the devices that I own at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I arrange each of the history topic into the timeline and gaming device of my journey. So timeline. This is the 5 main devices. There's more, but this is the main thing that I could never forget and impacted my life. I'll go through each device and I'll pick one game from each device.
Okay.
Cool. I'll start with Game Boy. Give me a sec.
Yeah, I still have one,
Oh, you still have one?
Yeah, I have a Game Boy as well.
Okay. So as a 4 years old, who would remember much? Not unless that memory is significant to your life, right? So I remember myself standing in a lovely home of mine, my first home, suddenly being handed over my first gaming device. My father taught me fun stuff and played a few games with me, often before he goes to work. From that, I can clearly recall that Mario Bros is the first game I've ever played. So during this stage, I was introduced to the most classic games: Space Invaders, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Contra, you name it. I played a lot, and it was the era of the arcade and the original 8-bit consoles that's been really good and memorable to me. Wait, sorry, it's lagging. There.
Nice.
So this is my first game, believe it or not. I'll explain the game right now. Mario has a charming character and he was a hero of mine. There was really not much to explain why we love this game, but I'll go anyway. The game features the ultimate goal of saving Princess Peach from the browser, the green ugly monster there. To do so, the player has to pass through different kinds of stages to meet the boss. Mario is definitely a game I would consider, or most people would consider out there, quality over quantity, because the publisher takes a great pride time putting effort into this. I actually got this in an internet. So this simple yet intuitive game attracts and encourages a big range of players out there to play. They were wide target audience for the game, and the saturated color scheme creates a really attractive vibe, especially for a younger version of myself. Oh, and did you forget about the catchy tunes? Trust me, the moment I said that, the music is playing in your head right now. Or maybe I'm wrong. So the music itself has differentiated Mario from most of what's already out there. Everything about Mario is simple, and just the story itself, until now, its appearance has always been nostalgic and memorable to everyone and to the good times. So the genre of this is action and platforms. I'll tell you guys about the genre occasionally, I mean regularly, because in the end I'll analyze what it means. So that was my I'm hearing echo, sorry. So that was my first gaming device. Guys, I'm hearing echo.
We're not hearing any echo.
I'm hearing echo. Anyway, it's stopped now. So that was my gaming device, Game Boy. Now the second one is PlayStation. Around 2005, the PS2 set an admirable beginning for my gaming journey. Not only had I become closer to my father, I also grew close to my brother playing with this
Right.
every day. Yeah. So that itself meant like the world to me. It was a huge family bonding moment, and it was in fact the point in life where I felt closest to my dad.
I see.
These relationships showed how games have connected to me emotionally and their influence on my game choice. From all the CDs, oh, actually forgot to mention, my dad and I would go out every week to get new CDs, and that was really one of the sweet times I never forget. So from all the CDs we've bought, I was exposed to games of many genres. Because we buy every week, I get different genres to play, and it was like an exploration for me. But mostly it was based on action-oriented games, ludology. A few of my favorite games were Mortal Kombat. I don't have pictures. Mortal Kombat, Devil May Cry, Naruto, Dragon Ball, Three Kingdoms. Whatever I'm gonna list, it's all action games.
Sure.
Yeah. So I've listed more games here than from Game Boy because this itself makes up 50% of my childhood. All right. That was one of my favorite game. It's an action game. So I'll analyze this right now. Dragon Ball Z, to be honest, not gonna lie this, it was a huge jam to me. What's special about this game is the stunning 3D that exists at the time. The details are really, to me, it was superior. And imagine it has 161 characters you can play. That is so much, and it's like the largest one in fighting games. You're probably thinking, it's hard to get bored because there's so much characters to play. So it was different from other games. Unlike Street Fighters, you can move in 3 dimensions, X, Y, Z axis. The games look more realistic than games I played back then. That was the reason why I like it. The graphics was also the main factor. Oh, and the most positive thing is that the features from each characters actually are also present in the real anime. So, like, it was like the real anime. So it's really cool. Oops, lagging again. So this was the most impressive fighting game. I would actually go back anytime if I have a chance. Oh, Next. The next thing is my Nintendo DS. Everyone would hate to say this, but it was a time in life where I was separated from my father. The DS was officially the last gaming device I received from my dad, and that's what made the experience important to my childhood.
I see.
The DS was similar to PS2. You can not play new games without a cartridge. And you see that thing? That's a cartridge.
Right.
It's like a CD, and you need to have it. So cartridges are really expensive at the time, at least in my country. So that left me with a few game choices. We never buy new cartridges, which is really sad. And it was by pure chance that Pokemon was one of the ones I owned. With that being said, I was absorbed to the world of Pokemon, never realizing how much there was for me to explore in that one game. The game offers much more than the main storyline. You can walk anywhere you want. You can go do main side stories, side quests, and those side quests leads to secret in-game locations, legendary Pokemons, and even items that you don't know exist. I was really impressed as a young boy, and grew really close connection. So I'll analyze the game right now. Pokemon, otherwise known as Pocket Monsters, is a role-playing game where you explore the map, you fight and catch wild monsters. And then you solve challenging puzzles and riddles, which leads to the main storyline. There are no rules, like I mentioned earlier. You can walk anywhere you want. You can walk to any time of your choice. You can even fly. You can visit your favorite places, fight monsters at any appropriate place you want. It's like you make the decision. You control the game. The game involves strategy and mechanics such as individual Pokemon strengths and weaknesses, Poke types, and Poke items. Those are all different, so you have to learn all of them. Not all, but you have to learn them. So as a Pokemon trainer, you train and watch your Pokemon grow or evolve like a proud dad. Sometimes you might even feel connected to your pet, I would say. The world of Pokemon is almost endless. Different kinds of challenges, monsters, and cool Pokemon's evolution. It's like you can never finish the game.
Fantastic.
I improve that. So that's what I love about the game. It's lagging again. Next is when I was around 11 years old. Around 11 years old. So it was around 2011. Personal computer. I never actually owned one, but funny, it was a leftover PC from years ago. And yes, you can imagine it has big and thick bezels. Probably are like this. It was when my Nintendo stopped working. So as you can see, my game devices are like one each of the timeline. I only use one each. So the PC obviously doesn't have strong hardware. It's a leftover, almost trash. That means I can't play action or 3D games anymore. I was stuck with just this. So with knowing that, strategy games was much more suitable for the computer. Unexpectedly, that led to addiction to strategy games. Yes. I was addicted to games like Bloons Tower Defense, and it was in fact one of my all-time favorite. Yeah, it's like God's planning this. Anyway, Bloons Tower Defense. The game has the same rule as any other tower defense games, which is to prevent your enemies from reaching your base or destroying it. Despite it being a typical tower defense game, the characters are much more engaging, lively, and they also introduce new mechanics and rewards in-game. Instead of using typical towers with no life, they use monkeys as a tower and balloons as the enemy, what kind of creativity is that? That's really cool, right? So their new gameplay implementation almost makes it feel like the game is a next extension of the genre itself. It was really cool. Didn't have a gameplay of that. Do you guys know this game?
No, really, I haven't played it yet. So.
Oh, no one.
Wait, it looks familiar though.
Okay. I can't guarantee, but to me, it's the best tower defense game out there right now.
Oh,
Next is laptop. Yeah, you were saying?
I actually like tower defense game, but I cannot remember what game that I played last time.
You play on phone or what?
PC.
PC?
I used to play Social Empires on Facebook.
I actually forgot to mention Facebook games. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think no one mentioned Facebook games, especially Tetris. Anyway, laptop. This was when the personal computer stopped working. As the last and the most significant game experience, I remember clearly how the winter of 2013 changed my life. Due to boredom, I was scrolling through the mods of Warcraft, and I discovered .A or Dota, which is short for Defense of the Ancient. Dota is a perfect blend of my two favorite genres. As I mentioned earlier, I love actions and strategy. Tower defense and action combined makes Dota. I fell in love with it quickly, and it was, to me, I thought it was like the universe handcrafted the game for me.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, that's like I was that to that point. Anyway,
Nice picks of word. Good job.
I thought about it. So after finding out about its official game, Dota 2, my gaming journey sets its flag and true focus from 2013 to 2019. 6 years of just one game.
Wow.
So Dota is a MOBA game, multiplayer online battle arena game, which has two teams of 5 players each. The main goal is to destroy the base of the opponent team while defending your own. That's the main goal. And then each player picks a hero out of 119 characters. That's a lot. With each hero having their own designs, strengths, weaknesses, skills. And then there are 2 roles in this game, carries and support. I hope you guys understand that already. The carries are really weak in the early stage of the game, and they require assistance from the support. Okay. So the reason I mentioned that was because the game is actually heavy in strategy and team coordination. Dota 2 learning curve is really mountainous, and I mean it takes more than a week to learn how to play the game, but everyone has to start somewhere, I would say. So all in all, it's my favorite. Why? Dota 2 has the combined characteristic, like I said, of my favorite games. Its character development is exclusive, including its graphical details, individual hero skins, and arts and storyline. So each hero have its own story. Unbelievable. The huge community also makes you feel a part of something big. The updates and content are never ending. Every week, there's always change in this game. And when I say change, you might have to relearn a few things. And that's what makes Dota quite a fair game, because pros, even if you play 6 years, 8 years, you have to adapt to new updates. So new heroes are constantly being added, new items, new mechanics, and even old heroes have their skills constantly being balanced. So the attention given to the game from its developer or the creator is really impressive. Most importantly, the game really forces you to bond with your teammate. And because of that, friendship is the main theme of Dota. Trust me, games can be much more enjoyed when you're defeating your enemies with your besties.
Mm.
Oops, lagging again. Okay, final thoughts. I've summarized my final thoughts into 4 main points. First of all, in summary, my interaction with games involves a lot of human interaction, as I believe that it has a personal and almost sensitive connection to the history involving my family members. I love strategy games, and it was very likely because of that time when I was stuck with nothing but that old PC that can't run anything. From my perspective, the third point, from my perspective, I see games. Oh my god. Sorry, the third point is supposed to say personal foundation. But anyway, from my current perspective, I see games as a foundation that builds me up as a person. That's how I see it. It's helped me gain my confidence, and mostly from Dota, because usually, I mean, back then I was an awkward kid on the corner of the room.
Right.
So from playing Dota 6 years, you know how much I have practiced from that. I play tournaments, I join teams, and similar to Kenny, but not to that extent.
Right.
And yes, I'm officially done with games right now. I do love and treasure those memories. The last point is supposed to say memories. Sorry. I love those memories, and forever I'll keep them with me, literally, because I still have those Game Boy, like you said, with me until now. That was more than 10 years ago. Yep. The end.
Wow, that was beautiful. Yeah, that was beautiful, man.
I have something
Can
to
you
say
hear the
there.
claps?
I can.
I have something to say. I think he go last and he prepare everything, like, after all the
Yeah,
that's cheating, like
I know, right?
you see Abby already, like, oh, okay, you know what? I go first, I'm just gonna show this and then okay, done. And Ryan, I'm just gonna show this, blah blah, and that. I'm just gonna show me, blah blah, that, and look at
And
the
there's
Wow.
Joe
researching on the game, reading the definition.
building the words, to make a catchy phrase and all those
Synonyms.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay,
Joe,
you know what?
Can you hear the envious? Can you hear the envy?
You're not wrong. I actually admit defeat.
Okay.
Well,
But yeah, I slept 6 a.m. this morning doing this, preparing catchy phrases. So yeah, just background information.
well, it paid off, Joe. Good work. You have made some very, very interesting connections to you. Basically, you achieved it. For this exercise. I want to ask you something, Joe. You said the that there's one of those later Nintendo games that was the last game that was from your dad, that
Yeah.
console. What happened between you and your dad at the time?
We don't talk much. I mean, you mean when I was separated?
Yeah, separated
Well,
as in.
Yeah, that.
I see. All right. I'm sorry to hear that. So it's
Yeah.
been a while since you met your dad.
Kind of.
Right. Okay, then speaking of memories, you mentioned about memories. You keep emphasizing good memories. Well, can you safely say that you're making new memories by exploring newer games? And because you
Yeah,
mentioned
I would say yes.
right. So now, what kind of games are you into?
As I mentioned, I kind of stopped. But
Alright.
but if to be fair, last year the most recent one that I like is musical games, because I don't have to think.
Right.
I just have to listen to the music, and I personally love music. So
So you play games for what purpose? Pleasure?
Okay. From the 4 main points that I share my screen again. Nah, never mind. I have one for sure is human interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Second is how it's how the memory. Oh, sorry. The purpose I play, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Basically, you play. Yeah, you mentioned human interaction, but
Okay.
but so that means you're
Yeah.
playing games for what? For enjoyment purpose?
Yeah,
I mean, for,
enjoyment. That's why I like actions. It's like what everyone just mentioned. Something that you just. It's not like I don't think too much. Okay, I just play actions because I love hitting people, I guess.
So for you, games is human. When it comes to human interaction, you play. Games are like
Social connect. Yeah.
yeah, it's
social true.
something like it's something to bridge. It's like a bridge between you and people. You and
Okay, yeah.
someone that people that matters to you, like your besties, your family.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, that would be one main point.
Okay, so I think that's very important. So that's a very good presentation, Joe. Thank you very much. So
I've given so much time.
no, it's okay. I think for the rest of you, I think just add the additional information that I mentioned, and we have done for this exercise. So I will give you guys the XPs in a while. Now that brings to the task for this coming Friday. This coming Friday, you'll need to outline your ideas. You need to show and propose some ideas, and we will all do that in tabletop. So what happens in tabletop is that each one of you will play host, or no, 2 groups, right? So each group will play host, and you will show a kind of a rough sketch, quote unquote, on a blank tabletop, and we're gonna have to play it as a start. So that's a very rough, very rough prototype, okay, based on a rough idea which you're pitching, and then we will all give feedback for that. So that's important to get started this Friday. Now, as for your weekly game reviews, I can see you guys are doing a really good job on that. I think I've given some comments on your weekly game reviews. So as how you did your presentation today, now you understand when you start to make your game reviews on a weekly basis, add these dimensions to it. There are things that maybe you don't often talk about, but there is definitely that you can't take anything for granted. Nothing is left out in the game experience. See, to understand the user is to understand how you are, how you play it, is to really reflect on your own experience. So continue to do that and do that successfully, and I will definitely give you the scores that you need. Okay, so place all these once you've done your amendments on your personal game history, place them into your your game studies e-portfolio, and send the URL, the link to the game studies e-portfolio in the group. Okay, if possible this week, yeah, before Friday.
Me and Joe we did this. I mean, I draw some things and then we acknowledge how to play it, and then the rules and the point system and everything, like what I mentioned just now.
Okay.
But we haven't really like built the game in game yet, because we just like, you know.
Oh, so you
I-
have the elements. Is that something you want to show? Can you both show something now?
Joe, should we show it now or later on Friday?
No, you can talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's go.
Okay, so,
No shame.
No shame, no shame. Yeah, no shame. Talk about it.
Joe, can you
Okay, I'll do the job.
Yeah, you do the live, and I'm probably gonna try to talk about
Wait,
it.
hold on. You should ask Ryan. Hey, Ryan, do you want to spin anything or roll a dice or?
We're still like discussing, like still brainstorming of ideas right now.
Oh.
See, Joe, I told you, our brain works faster, Joe. Oh my god.
Okay, so let's have Joe and Kenny talk about this first.
Oh my god.
Oh no! Wait.
Abby
No,
and
no, no,
Ryan,
no,
don't
is he
panic.
gone? Joe.
Wait.
Oh my
It's,
god.
it's wrong computer.
What are you showing?
Wrong computer. Wait.
Joe.
Can I give me 1 minute, please? Wrong computer.
Wrong computer. Okay.
Yeah, so now he did it in different because he have 2 laptops.
Ah.
So do you think the MC gonna extend?
I don't know actually. Yeah,
Holy.
But all I do know is I think our online classes is definitely until like end of the year. Probably end of this sem is definitely confirmed, but end of the year, we are very close to. I'm
Oh.
speculating very likely it might extend in terms of online classes, but MCO I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just hope things improve so that they can.
I mean, in Malaysia, it's improved, because it's become more or less, and I think we're only like 1,000 left. People like active cases.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's still very contagious. They haven't found any solutions to how they could prevent that from happening. There's no vaccine or
Yeah.
anything.
True.
Yeah, and you don't even know who is infected.
Probably you or me.
No, okay, I have definitely not.
Are you sure? I mean, nobody knows. Can
Excuse
be
me.
carrier.
Hello.
Oh.
I'm at home.
People at home even can get, so be
How?
careful.
How can we
I don't
get it
know.
through online?
Yeah.
Computer virus.
Yeah.
Delivery.
When you download some things, you probably got infected.
Oh, brother. Seriously.
Wow.
Alright, Joe, you ready?
Yeah.
I feel like we should present on Friday.
Yeah, okay, then what happened? Joe?
Go.
No shame.
No shame. I mean, we can just show like the rough draft that what we did the past 4 hours and 3 hours. Yeah.
Wow, you guys really worked. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait,
Let's not
bring it
waste
back
that.
again.
I mean, I told Joe, so supposed to see us like literally how we do work, like how much calculation, how much thought we put into this. Like, are we gonna be like make it more complex and more simple games?
Yeah. Sounds
So
like
we kind of a lot of thought.
yeah. Sounds like you want more XPs.
No, we don't. We just.
You don't want XPs?
Oh, I mean, I want. There you go. So do you see that? Oh yeah, this is just after Kenny and Joe. Okay.
Okay. So the game is called Kingdom of Wars.
Kingdom of Wars. Yeah.
Kingdom of
Yeah.
Wars.
Wars.
Yeah. War.
Wow, what a
Yeah.
sad kingdom, man. Like everyone is fighting.
Yeah, everyone's fighting. Yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
The genre of this game is.
Oh, okay. So you
Okay, so-
made a
conquering.
sketch. Okay,
I'll
cool.
start first. Okay, Kenny.
All right, go for it.
Go.
So this was the first sketch we did in the game. This was sketched by our game master Kenny. So if you can tell, if you can give me a sec, I get my
Rotate.
pencil first. I
It's
cannot
not
focus.
following a conventional grid system, but it looks.
You'll see why.
You
Okay.
see why. You
Okay,
Okay, so-
okay.
There's a four side. Oh my god. There's there's four side. This mouse.
Oh,
Okay, there. 1, 2, 3.
four.
Why don't I use circle? Oh my god.
No.
It's okay. You can do it.
Wait.
Go.
Oh, okay.
You need my help? I can go to inside the thing. And then...
Yeah, you can help me actually.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Wait, coming.
The
Help is coming. Wait up.
doesn't matter. There's four sides in the corner. That's what I'm trying to say. So
Excuse me.
our objective of the game
Mm-hmm.
is to gain the most point by capturing bases. All right. All these circles you see
Mm-hmm.
are base, and if you play Warcraft, It's almost the same thing. I'll explain later why. Here,
Mhm.
I'm gonna move to the description.
More details. Yeah.
So here, these are the point systems, and I don't know where to start. Okay,
just start on the map. The map. How
here,
does
this
it
is the map we redrew in this software. As you can see, there's player A, B, C, D, and then the center. The center is the biggest base, and then each base has its own level. You can see level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. It goes from the level increase as you go to the center, basically. So can you take over, please?
Wait, stop there. Let me see that map again. Zoom up to that map again. Now, let me get this right. A, B, C, D are bases.
Yes.
Player, yeah.
Player
Player base.
bases. Okay, so it's a four-player game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so now the numerics, that is,
Levels.
those are
Indicate the
levels.
level, yeah.
Yes. Like,
Okay, all right, continue. Okay.
Okay, so player with most points wins. So you get points by capturing base, and each level have different points. Okay, level 1, level 1.5, level 2, whatever. So it's not about the quantity of the base you collect, but it's the points. Basically, that's what determines success.
Yeah, that's why we put a lot of different levels on the
Yeah.
game. So the levels we don't call it area, we call it like popularity. So like the point system is basically
And
the
then-
one of
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
right? Go.
Okay. So how the player here playing the way you play the game is here. You roll the dice. Let's say I'm A. You roll the dice, and then you get. No, before you roll the dice, you choose if you want to move here or here. You can only move around your circle, if that makes sense. All right.
Just you expanding your area. I mean, you expanding your territory. So you need to like go
Got this.
according to
Right.
yes.
So let's say I want to move here. I have to roll the dice, and I have to get. That's a rule. If you want to go level 1, you have to get 3 or more to move there. And every time you move, you have to expend a cost of moving. If that makes sense.
How do
Everyone
you-
starts. Yeah.
How do you lose a cost? How do you
So-
expand the cost?
Okay. So for first of all, before the game started, each of the players have 300
300.
points. Points basically is like money, like in the game.
Their
So
currency.
Yeah, it's the currency inside the game. So
Currency
Uh,
or strength.
Measurement unit.
measurement
something.
unit, like for in order to determine who wins at the end of the game.
A measurement
the-
unit. Okay.
Yeah, so basically, each of the area that you conquer or territory that you conquer, you will get certain amount point in different levels. You see, like level 1, if you conquer level 1, you can get 250 for your currency in your pocket. So that means 300 plus 250, so 550. Get what I mean? So the more territory you conquer, the more points you have, and the more chances for you to win the first place.
Okay.
Right. So give me a sec, huh? So
For
what
level
was-
1, there is no cost that, I mean, in order for you to take the territory, there's no cost for you. You just play by using the dice rules on the bottom left there. Yeah, there's a lot of dicing rules. Level 1.
I see.
Yeah.
for each level. Yeah. For each level, the higher level, the more the amount of the dice you have to roll to get there.
So if I dice and I get 3 or above, I can move to the level 1 areas.
Yeah.
So if I move to level 1 areas because I got a 3 and above dice, then I don't have to expend the 300 points I have.
No.
Yeah.
You don't, because you need it, for later on. For level 2, if you want to conquer level 2, you need
To spend
to
it.
have. Yeah.
So I don't have to spend when I go to level 1
No, you don't need.
because of the dice? Or is it because
Because-
I'm on level 1?
Because
Yeah,
you are still
because
level
you
1. There's no, from the game itself, we don't like cut the cost. I mean, we don't have cost for that.
So what makes the game interesting here is that you can either choose to go typical way, like that 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Uh-huh.
4 steps. Or you can choose to go this way, which is a shortcut. However, the shortcut has its consequences, but it depends on you and your strategy. So the shortcut is what we call the secret tunnel.
And
1,
secret route.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1,
Wait.
2, 3. Is that how it works?
Yeah. It's from 1.5 and then to the
Secret
blue
tunnel,
secret tunnel, and then go to
and
the
then
fourth.
4. Oh wow, okay. Alright. So it has its own consequences. Like example, to get to 1.5, you have to roll 6 to get there. And then when you're already at 1.5, which you get more point from going so, you also have to get here, you have to roll double dice, double number. So 2, 2, 1, 1, whatever it is.
Then
So
you
it has
can,
its
then you
special-
get to the
yeah.
secret tunnel.
Yeah, it
Yes.
has its special rule.
So once you're in a secret tunnel, you straight away go to the last.
No. Okay.
No,
So
a
'cause
shortcut.
the
You can move
main
here.
point of this game is actually to conquer more territories, so you can get more points, right? So the secret tunnel or secret route is actually a way for you to get more points faster than you using normal route. But then it's more consequences on it, because when you're using secret route or secret tunnel, you can go straight to level 4, as in you can get more points. You know, like
You
it's
can get
basically
the
a
most
shortcut.
points.
Yeah. But high risk, high reward. That's how it is.
Yeah, okay. And then that's one thing that makes the game interesting or situational. The second one is the green circle, which is what we call the
Lucky shrine.
lucky shrine. Okay. In this one, you don't have to spend any points walking in. But then it's an optional move where you have to, if you step there, you have to roll 2 dice, right? And then those 2 dice, you have to times it by 40 and you get that point. So if you roll 6 times 40, that you get that much. It's just another optional move depending on players.
6. Go back to that dicing rules again. The lucky shrine, addition of dice times 40. That means you dice 2 dice.
Yeah.
Level 2, level 3, 4. Times 40 points. No deduction or cost. And there's only
Like you-
one turn.
Wait, what is this? What's this
Okay,
game?
so there are secret tunnels and lucky shrines. Okay.
So are you still on the same page as us or no? You know,
What?
are you in the same page as us or no? Not at all. Like you don't understand any of this.
Oh, I'm trying to understand it.
Okay, what do you not understand? I can we can explain to you it more, or we can just show it how it works and stuff. How? What do
Well,
you not understand?
Okay, well, basically, I know I start at point A, for example,
Yes.
and then the first thing I do is roll a dice,
yeah.
right? So I'm aware that I've got 300 points.
Yeah.
Before you roll the dice, you need to pick either you want to go to
1 or 1.5.
1 or 1.5. You need to
So
pick first.
I got to decide where I want to go first.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
So if I say that, yeah, of course, when I'm there, then I'm going to roll the dice first, or should I decide first and then roll the dice?
Decide first, then roll the dice.
Okay.
Because basically strategy game. So basically, you need to decide where you want to
Yeah.
go.
It's not all about the dice.
but
your
you got to
decision
write
making.
that down. You got to write
Okay.
that down.
Okay.
You got to
then-
make sure you write that rule down. You
Alright,
got to
sir.
make so the way the game is played is you got to decide where you want to go first, then roll the dice.
All right, and also, sir, we
Yeah.
can go back. Basically, what if you go to 1.5? You still can go to 2 if you don't want to take the chances of using. You get what I mean? You can go to 3 as well because it's faster that way.
So which means it's not sequential. You can jump
you
straight.
can go to whatever right in front of you. You see, you can go to the 3, you can go to the 2.
So
it
for
depends on you.
example, if I'm an A, then I can say, okay, I want to go to 3.
No, you can't. You need to
I
follow.
can't.
You need to
It's
conquer the
circle.
territory first, and then you.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, so that much is clear. So that movement rule, the rule of sort of a rule of engagement or some kind of
Yeah.
that needs to be written down.
All right.
So that part is missing.
But
So-
so far, are you like
Yeah, I think I kind of almost get it, but when it comes to maths, I suck. So when it comes to numbers, I get a little.
Yeah,
You
no
get a little
worries. Yeah, I
stuck.
count it for you. Don't worry. I help you count and what you need.
No, but I'm
No.
not saying I can't count this thing. I mean,
No, I mean,
mean-
what do you need to know about the point system? Do you need to know about the point system as well?
no. I think the point system, whatever the point system you have, is fine. But the thing is, what is this game really about? The game.
It's about capturing the most points.
So the game is
Uh,
about catching the most points.
Yeah.
There's no destination, no final destination.
No.
No.
So it's conquest.
Yes.
Yeah. Conquest. Achievement itself.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's a game of conquest.
Kingdom of Conquest.
No, doesn't sound right.
No. No. Just Kingdom of Wars. I mean,
No,
they
you see,
literally.
no, the name. Okay, like A, D, C, B. Are they 4 kingdoms or 4
A,
bases?
B, C, D. Basically, we just put it A, B, C, D as in showing that there's 4 players gonna play in this game, and it's.
Oh, why
go
you
with-
just call it Conquest of the Kingdom? If this whole thing is a kingdom, Conquest of the Kingdom.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the A, B, C, D is just
Yeah,
we'll do.
for the mean,
uh,
tentatively can be known as this
yeah.
Conquest of the Kingdom. Yeah, there you go. So this whole thing is a kingdom. So basically, you need to conquer as many territories as you can, and
Yes.
each territories have different levels. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
Okay. And we're using 1 dice and 2 dice, depends on the level.
Okay. So your main gameplay is there a battle?
What do you mean battle? As in,
Are you able? So basically you just have to you just have to dice and conquer territories. That's it.
yeah, but each kingdom have 1 turn each, right? So you need to go around clockwise all the time until 10. Each kingdom have 10 turns, so it will go around clockwise until it finish.
So basically you've taken the game of Ludo and
Yeah, a lot, sir. My reference actually, if you know the Ticket to Train,
what?
a Ticket to Ride. Sorry, Ticket to Ride. It's actually a strategy, but it's a train kind of game. It's
Yeah.
Okay, from that, basically some other games, just put it as a reference, and then
Okay.
voila,
Okay. Make sure you indicate your game references and how did you how did you extract the concepts, and I mean how many of these game references have similar concepts, and what makes yours slightly different. So that needs, you need to indicate that, and remember to show movement rules.
Okay.
The decide and dice rather than dice and decide. There are many dice games that you dice and then you decide. You dice and then you move. But this one, you got to point the direction first, then you dice. Yeah, there
Yeah.
are games that do that. So maybe you wanna also make some references to some of these games, and why does it matter for you to decide and dice?
Yeah.
So the popularity, I don't know why you call it popularity rather than levels. I think maybe levels is good enough, or
No.
it could be. This map reminds me of a topographical map. It's almost like a topographical map. It's almost like, oops.
Andrea?
So basically, the popularity is actually, we change the name points to popularity because when you're playing territory or kingdom,
Yeah.
it's need more into the phrases.
Yeah,
need to be
territories.
more
Yeah.
kingdom. Yeah.
Yeah, but
you know?
this one doesn't look like territories. It doesn't look like a territory per se. This one looks like, for example, the D here. This looks higher than the 1. The 1 looks higher than the 2. The 2 looks higher than the 3, and the 4 looks like it's in a valley. So
So
if-
we haven't
No,
decided.
this is just like
yeah, this is just
sketch.
yeah. So I know this is just a sketch, but I'm just saying it just reminds me like the scale-like sketch. The indication of territory looks different. So from looking from top view like this, it the 2D version, it kind of looks like that. But I know this is a very rough concept. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that you need to make that clear, what these territories are and what that is. Doesn't matter if it's rough, but when you do it like this, it's almost like a topographical, like, okay, C is probably top of a hill, so that inference can be there, for anyone who's looking at it. And the secret tunnels, and I think I quite like the concept of the secret tunnels, and it's almost like portals or whatever you want to call them. I quite like that concept. I think we can practice this. We can just do a playthrough. Let's play this rough thing this coming Friday. So in tabletop, you show me the sketch on tabletop, right? So do a rough sketch, a cleaner version of this, or just maybe put this sketch onto that whiteboard, and then we can try playing it. But when you play it, how do you record the points? And does it really matter to have all these points? Is it really important? And what does it do? What does it do to the objective of this game? How is that connected to the game, to the movement or the objective of the game, and so on? Is there anything to threaten your position there also? What
the
threatens
territory,
it? What?
and like how to, like, 'cause from here you can see if you move or what the territory that you conquer.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we're gonna put like the characters, like, or the soldiers, we're gonna find it on workshop, and then, like, you can put your commander or something and then put it on the territory. That means the territory is already yours. So so it will show how, like, so sees this character. So
okay. So like Risk.
What?
You
Sorry? Risk?
something like Risk, like the game. Have you heard of the game Risk?
No.
You haven't heard of the game Risk?
No, I guess.
It's a world
Okay.
conquest game. Check
I
it
don't
out.
know.
That can be a good
something
reference
like
for
that.
you.
You see that
Yeah.
I play like Company of Heroes, all those.
Yeah. It's something like Company of Heroes, but Risk is a
Yeah.
Company of Heroes and all that is a digital version of Risk, in a way. But
And also
Risk
Rise of Nations. Rise of Nation is one of the, it can shows the territory been taken.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for showing that. I think I quite like what I'm seeing.
Is it well put, or is it?
Well,
is
it's
it good enough
it's
for
still
rough
very
game?
rough. I can't say it's well put yet. It's still very rough, but we need to
Yeah.
play it.
Oh, right. But
Yeah, we need to play
so
it. We need to experience how the gameplay works. And
do you
then,
accept our proposal?
yeah, I like the conquest. The theme of conquest is okay for now. This is your initial pitch. Yeah, it's
Yes.
fine, but it is not already set on stone yet. It is something that is still very raw. Okay, so it needs to continue to be played through. So every week we're going to develop this. Every single week there may be changes. There will be things that you might want to take away from or amend, improve. There might things that you want to change. So it all depends. So we would have to have quality time looking at it, playing it, and so on. So further discussion this Friday on that. What about Abby and Ryan? What do you think? Your feedback to what you saw? Do you have anything you want to comment on Kenny and Joe's game concept?
For me, I really gotta play it to understand it. Yeah, because I was a bit confused.
Yeah.
They were explaining.
Okay.
I guess it's a bit
Abby?
like, yeah. Once you play it, you should get it, I guess.
Max confused me.
Yeah, Kenny, actually, I want to point out. I've been actually wanting to point out, but I'll be honest right now.
What?
We all hate maths. So we might wanna
Yeah.
fix this part. Legit.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm just trying because remember, sir, I think last week talking about the games, point system, all this and that. I just taking that as a note, and then I
No,
try
I'm,
my.
I'm not saying no. I didn't say point system was a bad thing. I'm saying, was there? It has to be. There has to be some. There has the
Yeah.
connection and the relationship within the points, the character. If it's well connected, it's easy to understand. At this point, maybe there is a good connection there, but we can't really tell until we actually see how it works.
No,
Yeah.
it's actually no. I mean the point system. I think I really like it, but
Yeah.
there are too many rules that involves math.
Yeah. I mean,
I think that
yeah.
might be a little overwhelming for some people.
Yeah, let's give it a shot this Friday, okay? Okay, you got
Yeah,
okay. You
that's
two,
it.
your mission is now you gotta host that. You gotta host that game session, and four of us. Who one of you will be the game master? Maybe Joe or Kenny. Then the four of us have to play, and then let's see how it goes. Let's see who able to conquer as many territories, quote unquote, as we can. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're-
because
Yeah.
me and Joe just now, sir, was
Uh-huh.
thinking about how to make this game more simple, but then on the way how we explain
No.
things, the way how we put a lot of ideas in it, and I say, oh crap, this is so much complex than we thought it would be.
No. It's not about making the game simple, or it's not about making the game complicated. It's making the game a playable game. It's got high playability and immersiveness, and it can hook a player to play it. So it's about that. It's about why the game matters, and so if the learning curve can be maybe 20%, 10%, 20%, not too steep, not too not less, not too much, too low steep. A bit of complexity is good, because the nature of this game is about strategy, like chess. So chess has got quite a big learning curve, but once you get the hang of it, yeah. So the question is, you got to measure each time. For example, you do a playthrough, even if it's a rough concept, you got time ourselves. I mean, especially you guys are developing this, so you guys need to time how long did we actually get it? Did we take to understand this? But this is among us. But the time is coming very soon that you're gonna do some playthrough with your other friends, and that's a bit of a challenge, because you need people who has tabletop simulator to do it. but we'll talk
think
about
that-
that. We'll talk about that when the time comes. But for now, that's basically the thing.
So
Yeah.
is this gonna be our only project for this class, or is there any other project?
No, this is the project that will lead to the final.
So there's only one project and a few other exercises. Is that how it is?
Yeah, the project is divided into what, 3
Different
phases? Four phases. Like now you're still in the first phase. You're pitching your idea now. Then the second phase, you start to refine you expect your ideas to be well refined by the second phase. Third phase, you start to do a little bit more play testing. The play testing will be quite challenging, because we need to find people to play test with you. So chances are there will be a community of tabletop simulator gamers online, which you may want to connect to, because we're all connected to Steam, right? Maybe you want to contact them via Steam, and maybe get them to play your tabletop, and get feedback and things like that. So yeah.
How
So
about?
chances are that probably what we need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Is it okay if we ask our friends to test?
Yeah, you can ask your friends to test if they can all if they are all capable of getting tabletop simulator to do that. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah. So you can set your targets to test it later on. So for now, we are still in the stage of refining your concepts, because it'll never be the game that game idea will never there will not be a full stop to it. I mean, it will continue to develop. It'll never get finished. It's always considered a beta version. even at
alpha version.
Alpha version, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, alpha version. So it will always be an alpha version right up to the very end, like the final project stage. At that stage, this alpha version is like the final alpha version, maybe the last alpha version, where at that point you can't change anything anymore, because you keep changing. You have many cycles of playtesting. You keep changing and amending until you can't change anymore. So which means it's already become an alpha, the final version of the alpha, final whatever you call it. Then, and who knows, this can be by the time you also have the game design document that documents the entire game design, then it can turn in this document and your prototype can turn into a viable business plan proposal, so, and you can actually submit for a grant for you to develop it further. Yep. And have intellectual property and things like that. And yeah, so that's the eventuality, the possibilities, so yeah, so we should get started. Yeah, play through. Ryan and Abby, if you have your concepts, do you all have your concepts now? Ryan and Abby?
Slowly getting there.
Okay, all right. Continue to discuss with Ryan. What Kenny and Joe's did was I've seen their sketch in Tabletop and also this thing. I think that's a very good way to get started. So I suggest you and Ryan also get started. Similar fashion. Good way is for you guys to get into Tabletop and spend some time together. And fight with each other. Have some arguments.
We flipped many tables this morning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ryan.
we flipped so
Chances
many
are Ryan will have to throw. Chances are Ryan will spin some wheels and throw some dices to decide.
And Abby is gonna enlarge things.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Abby said, "I want to enlarge this," and then Ryan will say, "Okay, let's pick a card whether you want to enlarge something."
Classic
but that's the key. I think if you guys see how you two like to work together, just be you, be as playful as you can, but you need to put something down, and you need to put a concept down. It doesn't matter if you have more than one concept. That also goes for Joe and Kenny. You can have 2 or 3 concepts. So what you showed me was just one. So you could try to have 3 concepts, and then we'll see how the gameplay works. And
You mean
there you go.
3 ways or 3 games?
Maybe if strategic conquest game is like what you guys are aiming for, and then maybe there are 3 different types of approach to this. The one that you showed was conquer the territories. Another one could be a little bit more action, maybe. Another one could be a little bit something else. But all three is about conquest. Because I can see that it's got heavy influence from Dota. It's heavily influence from Company of Heroes, and I can see a little bit of influence from Risk. But I suggest you have a study Risk, the game of Risk, because it's a classic game. And whatever that has the word strategy and conquest, study those. So don't let this one just be something that is just 2-dimensional or 1-dimensional. I mean, what I mean is let everyone who's aware. I mean, whoever is playing this, they will definitely be aware that there are other games that are conquest, but there's something about your game that addresses the gaps in those other games. So what are those gaps? what are those things, those missing pieces that those other games can. But mind you, we're talking about concepts on a tabletop game, which eventually will lead to a digital game anyway, because if you look at studies, a lot of the analog games have evolved into digital games. So starting this way will be a good way for you to construct, and you're constructivist in a way, so because you're building on prior understanding of an experience of strategy games. So you need to do a bit more referencing. But I love this concept. Actually, I like strategy games. So don't be too complacent. Don't be too comfortable with just one concept. Maybe you can see another approach to this. Maybe modified version of this, but it's a totally different approach. Something a bit more different, in terms of points, in terms of movement, rules. So, yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like, different planets, different games are like different planets. Like right now we live on Earth, we breathe oxygen, we throw a ball up, there's gravity is 10G. Oxygen is based on nitrogen, hydrogen, whatever, right? All this sort of thing. And the water is drinkable, and so on. But what if you go to a different planet, and in that planet the atmosphere is methane, there's no oxygen, and the sea is a sea of sulfur, and there are no plants. Instead of plants, there are rocks there that is soft, and so on and so forth. So the rules are different, and the gravity there is like maybe like 4Gs, less gravity. So the rules of different environments are different. So now you showed me one planet that has this strategy, these rules. So you have another approach to a conquest which has maybe slightly different rules. And how do you navigate with these rules? Like here, the movement or navigation, that has to be very clear, because when you visit a new planet, because the atmosphere is different, everything is different, the rules are different, so you might have a different kind of spacesuit. On Earth you don't wear spacesuit, but on those planets you have different spacesuit. So similarly with different games, you have different rules. So you got to make that very clear. Yeah. Okay. All right.
That's
Good.
goodbye.
Good. All right. Thanks,
Okay.
guys. So
Goodbye.
have a good evening, guys, and well done all of you for your presentations. So I'll update you guys in the group. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. I can sleep now.
Okay. Bye.